Hi, and welcome to Coffee and Calacas. I'm your host, Joe. If you are new here, I want to let you know that this is a weekly podcast where we sit around the coffee table and discuss stories of the supernatural, mysticism, and what lies in the beyond. If this interests you, I hope you stick around and enjoy the show. Thank you. Alright, so this week's episode we're going to discuss something a little Christmassy and a little on the dark side. We're going to talk about Krampus. And if you're familiar with Krampus, then you know how dark that is, okay? This will be a short episode. I know I said that last week, and it turned out a little longer than I expected. But this one's going to be pretty short. If I go past, a few minutes, hey, feel free to comment down below and tell me, hey, you're just a liar, okay? So, let's begin. So, who is Krampus, okay? If you don't know who Krampus is, lucky you. Those who do know who Krampus is, well, lucky you too. I grew up with the idea that Santa was who kept you in line for Christmas. But there are some kids who are out there who are lucky enough to experience Krampus all on their own. So Krampus is a demonic-looking figure. He's basically half goat, half demon. And he is supposed to be the shadow of Santa Claus, okay? So Santa Claus is this bright, jolly fellow. Krampus is not. He is grumpier than the Grinch and a lot meaner too. Honestly, he's not someone you want to tangle with. If you're misbehaving, just settle down and you don't want Krampus to come after you, okay? So basically, the way it's described, Krampus has there's been a big resurgence of him lately. I want to say from 2010 this way. More people have found out about him due to books and movies coming out based off Krampus. Before that, it was mostly in the Scandinavian countries where you would hear about Krampus more. He's a cloven hoof character, and he's been around for years, and he is part of folklore, and he's part of these traditions in the region of Bavaria in Germany and Austria. In those stories, Krampus is actually not an evil character per se, but actually, Saint Nick's, chum. He's his friend. Basically his partner. So, Saint Nick gives the good kids a gift, and Krampus gives the naughty kids a beating. So, through the years, Krampus has, evolved, and his image has varied. But he is pretty consistent in the fact that he looks kind of devilish. He's got dark fur, a very long tail, cloven hooves, and large horns. He has a long red tongue, and he's often sticking out. Maybe he's like a pug. My pug is always sticking out her tongue. And, I'm not saying she's Krampus, but you offer her a meatball, and she'll fight you to the death. She will. I gotta take her to puppy therapy for that. So Krampus walks around. If you've seen on Instagram, I have posted a reel of Krampus. He is, basically that image that you've seen on Instagram is what Krampus is supposed to look like. He's this, fuzzy little creature, and he's not actually little. He's actually supposed to be pretty big, about 6-7 feet tall. Very furry, those cloven hooves. He carries this basket with him. He carries birch sticks to beat you with. Carries a basket with him to put kids inside. And so he, that's kind of who he is, okay? So where does this come from, okay? So basically, let's travel back in time. Let's hop in my TARDIS and we'll go back in time. So Krampus Nacht or Krampus Night is a holiday that is celebrated on December 5th. And they would have these big parades called Krampus runs. And, people dress up as Krampus, and and walk around the towns and, scare little kids, mostly scare little kids, And, I mean, get up to some good old mischief. Mostly it was to scare kids. Krampus carries a basket or a sack, and he puts kids in there when they do misbehave. He carries chains on him or bells, something loud to, like, kind of show that his presence is known. Okay, so he's like, yo, I'm here. Bow down to me because I'm gonna eat you. So for the Krampus celebrations, they're usually celebrated around Saint Nick Day. Saint Nicholas in other countries is not your Santa Claus. Santa Claus is a more Americanized fellow. So basically Saint Nick was a real person, and he would give out gifts to children, and was looked out for them. So he was like this good old guy, and Krampus was the opposite of him. Not that he wasn't good, it's just that if Saint Nick gave you gifts, Krampus gave you a beating. Okay. So, Krampus runs, like I said, our parades, and they are found in large cities like Bavaria, Munich, Germany, Salzburg, Austria, and people participate, in these things. Like, they dress up, like I told you, in costumes and in masks, and some of these masks and stuff are handmade and heirlooms even, and they're passed down from generation to generation, of people who have dressed as Krampus, within the family. In other parts of Europe, Krampus characters, kind of pop up, he's in that area, but other countries have something similar to Krampus even. So let's dig a little bit about Krampus, okay? So why Krampus? I mean, mostly everyone knows who Saint Nick is, and a lot of people still don't know who Krampus is. And I know that he is popping up, he's having a resurgence of himself, but still there's still a lot of people who don't know who that is. And that's fine. Like I said, I grew up with the idea that Saint Nick is the person you need to, not necessarily be scared of, but if you want your gifts for Christmas, Saint Nick is the one who's in charge of making sure you get your gifts. And not necessarily Saint Nick, Santa Claus. Because, like I said, there is a difference who Saint Nick is. We kind of refer to Santa Claus as Saint Nick, I guess, sort of like a nickname of him. But Santa Claus is the individual who I grew up, with. I didn't have the pleasure of being scared by Krampus, but I'm pretty sure if I did, I would be afraid of him. Because, I mean, who wouldn't be afraid of this big, creature who's going to beat you or take you and put you in his sack and eat you later. So from what I've read, Krampus does take bad kids. So, like, let's say, you misbehave a little bit, you're being a little bit rude to your mom and dad, Krampus would basically just beat you. If you really are just being a big brat and don't really listen, misbehaving in school and stuff too, then Krampus would probably take you to the underworld. And he could either keep you there for, ever and just beat you for the fun of it, like a piñata, or he would eat you. It was his preference. I mean, maybe he was feeling hungry, he needed a little snack, and he's like, oh, look at this little kid right here. Looks pretty tasty. So, it goes both ways, honestly. He could either take you and just keep you, beat you because, you weren't that bad, but you know what? You weren't that great either, so you still need a beating. Or I'm just gonna eat you, dude, because let me just get rid of you. So that's who Krampus is. Now, Santa Claus is the total opposite. Saint Nick is the total opposite. Saint Nick is a real person, and he would give out kids. He would give gifts to kids who were deserving. I believe in the Saint Nick readings that I've read, that it says that he actually saved the lives of 3 kids who were going to be butchered and dismembered by the local butcher. And he saved their lives, and they were like forever grateful, and they're like, oh my goodness. I did watch a video where, I mean, I'm gonna call bullshit on this. So apparently Saint Nick he runs into the butcher, and the butcher had killed the kids and actually like dismembered their bodies and put them in a barrel. And Saint Nick came, touched the barrel, and said a blessing, and he's like, "Oh, may they be healed." Boom, the kids were magically healed, and they were back together, parts and all. But that's the only video I saw where it actually depicted that. All the other things I did read show Saint Nick as being being a priest who did go around helping people, saving people, and he did save 3 kids from being killed by this man. So Krampus, basically the guy that says, "Nah, man, I'm gonna take you because you're misbehaving, and you don't get gifts from Saint Nick. You all you're gonna get is a spanking." Which, I mean, not a bad thing to scare kids with, but I mean, I'm not a believer that kids need to be scared to behave. I believe that you should just encourage, I mean, but if your kid's being a little shit, then go ahead. Yeah, scare them with Krampus. So I say this because, a lot of people are don't like Krampus because he looks like a demon. And I think that's the point of Krampus, to look scary, to look ominous, because how else are you supposed to have a kid, listen to you if they're not afraid of something big? So, I mean, he's made a resurgence. Like I said, Krampus has come out with like different people have written books about him. They've created action figures, even those Funko Pops, and which is great. It's awesome. I totally for that. But yeah, that's who Krampus is. Just a big old creature who, he's not opposed to you enjoying Christmas. He just doesn't want you to misbehave. Other people who are similar to Krampus, you have Frau Perchta. She is also a demon-like troll who not only I want to say she's just a little bit worse than Krampus. She actually disembowels you and fills you with rocks when you're misbehaving. You have La Bofana. She's a witch, but she is actually a good witch, I guess you could say. Well, I'm not even sure she's actually a witch. I think she's just an old lady, to be honest with you. So what she does, she goes on Epiphany. So if you're not sure what Epiphany is, El Día de los Reyes, January 6th, the Three Kings Day, whatever you want to call it, Epiphany. She shows up on Epiphany and leaves a coin or a toy inside a shoe for kids. Frau Perchta also shows up on like Epiphany around there, but she beats you, she kills you, eats you even, and she's the opposite of she's the female. I guess you could say the female Krampus. Krampus beats you and eats you and stuff, but he's not going to disembowel you. I mean, he has his limits. Like he knows. He's like, we're pushing it too far, Frau. But she's like, hey, dude, this kid disrespected me. He wasn't wearing his brand new shirt or whatever. Now, talking about brand new shirt, that actually leads to this other creature called the Yolk Cat. Yolk Cat belongs to Gorilla and hangs out with the Yule lads. That's why it's called the Yule Cat. And he will eat you if you are not wearing new clothes for Christmas. So if you have a ratted out shirt, torn jeans, if you're hulking out in your clothes, I suggest run to the Walmart, run to Target, go look for a shirt at Ross, a brand new one, just so that way you don't get eaten by the Yolk Cat. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, but I mean, why tempt fate? Krampus doesn't care what you wear, just as long as you're not a little shit. Like I said, I mean, there's creatures out there that are a lot worse than Krampus, but Krampus gets the bad rap for this. I mean, he's actually a pretty chill guy. I'm pretty sure he listens to this podcast, and he's probably having un cafecito right now, which I should have a cafecito right now too, but mine's actually brewing. Hopefully it's done by the time I finish filming this. I mean, it should be, right? I wanted to look up a picture of Krampus for you guys, just in case you're not sure who he is or what he looks like. Just trying to load one up real quick. But, you know me. So Krampus is supposed to sort of look like this, okay? A little creepy, a little snarly looking. But overall, an alright guy. He ain't gonna eat you like Rob Birch that is. He's probably like, dude, I've had enough of kids. But yeah, that's that. He's a half goat, half demon monster and punishes misbehaving children at Christmas, okay? That is who Krampus is. And in German, Krampus comes from the word Krampen, which means claw in German. And so, beware the claw, guys. And that's it for today. And I want to thank you, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas. And stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you.